and welcome in. It's time to go one-on-one. We have another very special guest today, my good friend Jarryd Wallace, who I'm so proud of, a world champion, a Paralympian, a U.S. champion. Jarryd, my first experience with you running, now you probably won't even remember this. You were a little guy. You and your dad ran a 5K at the Athens YMCA. It was a morning of the 1998 Georgia-South Carolina game, and your dad was so proud of it. I think you ran it in like 27 minutes. You must have been like 7 years old. Do you have any recollection of that?
The earliest 5K I remember was the year that they started making the Bulldogs that you see all over UGA campus.
Right.
And they had a mini one that they were giving away at that event, and it was based on the bib number that you had, and I actually won that Bulldog. So I have a miniature version. It's sitting on my back deck at the house right now of the Bulldogs that you see all over campus. So that's probably why it's the one I remember the best. But man, I've been in my parents put me in so many road races growing up as a kid. It's hard to keep track.
Well, and for you, obviously, you couldn't have grown up any more Georgia with your parents. Your father, Jeff, is a legendary Hall of Fame national champion, tennis coach here at Georgia. Your mom, Sabina, you talk about a great racer. I still see her running the streets of 5 Points and everything. So literally the Bulldogs and running, it's always been in your blood.
It has, man. You know, I've been fortunate. My job's taken me all over the world, but I tell you what, there's no better place in the world than Athens, Georgia, and I've been fortunate to be raised here. Been fortunate to be a Bulldog, bleed red and black, and represent the Dogs on not only in Athens when I'm here, but on a global stage.
Well, Jarryd, I mean, your story is fascinating. You had a decorated junior career. You're running track here at Georgia, and you have a condition that comes up, and all of a sudden things got quite harrowing for you. So if you could kind of take us through your story and what got the ball started to your world championship success.
Yeah, so, coming out of into my senior year of high school, I just signed to run track at the University of Georgia. I had an overuse running injury that I'd been battling with for the past 2 years, and kind of just thought I was injury prone more than anything, but ultimately found out that I had a chronic overuse running injury, and that there was a procedure that I could have to help mediate that pain and stop it from coming back. Of course, just signed to run at Georgia. That was an easy option, an easy yes decision. Let's get this surgery done so that I can come and train even harder and perform even better, hopefully, wearing the red and black. And so we went forward with that surgery. Unfortunately, had complications in that surgery that sent us down a really tough 2.5-year journey. I had a total of 10 reconstructive surgeries trying to save my leg, a lot of limb salvage, a lot of reconstruction, a lot of uncertainty in that time. I had always been kind of known as the runner, and when I lost my identity as a runner, I had a rough go for a little while trying to figure out what my purpose was in life and what I brought to the table, because I really didn't feel like there was much value for me at that point. Thankfully, I was surrounded by so many amazing people. My family, of course, we've got won the lottery when it comes to parents. My mom and dad are absolutely unbelievable, and a lot of friends that just rallied around me and really kept me focused. And ultimately, I came to a point in my life where I'd kind of hit my own rock bottom. I'd tried every surgery that was there. I tried, everything that the world said would make you feel better about yourself, and ultimately got to a point where I just had to surrender and let go and say, you know what, like I'm not in control of my circumstances. I'm gonna have to just trust the Lord and move forward with whatever He has for me. And that landed us in a doctor's office in Madison, Wisconsin. And this doctor, for the first time of all the doctor offices that I'd been to, looked at me and he said, "You know what, Jarryd?" He said, "I feel like for so long you've been letting your present circumstances, you've been letting your leg dictate how you think and how you're looking forward and how you're dreaming." He said, "Let's take your leg off the table. Let's take your present circumstances and just remove them. And let's just talk about what do you want in life? What are your dreams? What are things that you would like to do with your, leg off the table, basically." And I was like, man, I'd love to run again. I'd love to be pain free. That'd be great. I was addicted to pain medication. I was in constant state of pain. And, I said, gosh, I'd love to have a family one day, be able to play with my kids in the backyard, just normal stuff. Ultimately, I didn't have these aspirations in that moment to be the best athlete in the world. I just wanted to be normal. I wanted to be pain-free, and I wanted to be normal. And he looked at it and he said, man, that's so cool. And I'm so glad that you're able to have those dreams. But honestly, with the leg that you've got, those aren't realistic. And unless you really strongly consider having your leg amputated, those dreams won't be able to become a reality. And so at 19 years old, I'm having this conversation, and I walk out of that doctor's office, and basically then and there said, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to electively have my leg amputated, and we're going to get on with my life, and I'm going to be pain free, and I'm going to have new vision or new dreams and new goals to run after.
Jarryd, I think that's so inspirational. And number one, it says so much about your passion for running and the sacrifice that you were able to make. And I think this is one of the most incredible stories of all time when it comes to, especially to be at your age, to have something just awful happen to you. And then you make this sacrifice, and then it turns into this just incredible life's journey for you, and what you've been able to do on the world stage with all your world championships and your gold medals, and getting to go to London, getting to go to Rio. I mean, you talk about making chicken salad out of what. I don't know anybody who's done a better job of it.
Well, JD, I appreciate it, man. It's pretty crazy. I left that doctor's office, and I remember going to the hotel and basically started Googling, like, what would my life look like as an amputee? Amputees, prosthetics. I just started doing research, and I went from dreaming about just living a normal life very quickly to dreaming about being the best Paralympian in the world. I literally 2 hours later came across the world record list for Paralympic track and field. I called my parents in the room and I said, my name's going to be on this list. Like, this isn't why I have my leg amputated, but let's do this thing. And, it was 3 years after amputation that I was able to have my name on that world record list. I've been 4-time world record holder, 3-time world champion. I've been to 2 Paralympic Games. I've seen the world. I've absolutely have had amazing opportunities, and sport has really blessed me in that regard. And it really, I give a lot of that. There's really three kind of core things that allowed me to achieve those things, I believe. And the first, it started with the doctor. He got me dreaming again. I didn't realize that for the 3 years I was going through those reconstructive surgeries, I stopped dreaming. I was so focused and so drowned by the present circumstances I was in. I was letting those dictate my future hopes and dreams rather than letting my dreams drive where I was moving. And he reshifted my mindset in that moment in that doctor's office. And that was number one. Number two was when I finally made that decision, I had an amazing team of people, ProCare Prosthetics, University of Georgia, Mike Dew, just Ron, everybody came around me and literally said, we're going to help this kid recover. We're going to help this kid be the best athlete he can be. Track coaches, Josh Rucci, strength coach. I mean, everybody at Georgia said, let's do this thing. And then finally, and most importantly, my family just basically gave me the resources and an ability to just drive through this and believe that I could go after a crazy dream, which at that time I hadn't even had my leg amputated, and I said I was going to be a world record holder. So it takes a team of people to achieve crazy and amazing dreams, and I was so blessed and so fortunate to have a great team around me to be able to do those things.
Well, you really are an amazing young man. And Jarryd, I think these unprecedented times we're going through, and obviously a lot of bad stuff has happened, but I think your story is a tremendous testimony to when bad things happen, good things can come out of that. Do you have any words of inspiration or encouragement?
Totally. I mean, there's no way around it. The times we're in are unprecedented. There's a lot of unknown, and there's so much fear in the unknown. I think as humans, our comfort zones are when we're in control and when we have a good indication of what's happening around us. And I don't think many of us have felt that in the past 6 or 8 weeks. And it's definitely a scary place to be. But I think that, I go back to, what sparked me, what allowed me to move out of what was probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make, and turn lemons into lemonade. And I think ultimately what it was is I stopped focusing on that present. I stopped focusing on the worst case scenario, and I started looking at, how can I use where I am right now and the giftedness I have right now to bring hope to the situation, or to maybe just do the best that I can today, and not worry about tomorrow, not worry about next week, not worry about the unknown, but just do and be the best that I can be today, and know that that's all I can control, that's all I can handle, and know it's going to build me and prepare me for whatever tomorrow may bring.
See, now you're making me feel bad. I was slack and was trying to lay in bed and not do my 4-mile walk this morning. So you're just such a source of inspiration. It's amazing, Jarryd. What's next for you? I know with what's happened here, obviously Tokyo's off the table in 2020. I would imagine Tokyo 2021 is one of your top goals, though.
1,000%. They just reset the dates, I think, a couple weeks ago. So we're this year was a leap year, so we're basically starting a day earlier next year, but it's the exact same schedule. They've locked those in, which is really great. And then I think they're pushing World Championships, which was supposed to be in 2021 into 2022. So maybe added an extra year into my career. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. I turned 30 in a couple weeks, so we're gonna go as long as my body will let me. But I'm really fortunate, and this was kind of a blessing in disguise for me, honestly. I was battling injuries all through the end of last year. I had to pull out of World Championships. The beginning of this year was just really slow progress of training. So for me to have a whole another year to really get myself ready is really exciting. I was in some of the best shape of my life. I was running some of the best times shortly before I got injured. And so I'm really looking forward to getting back into that shape. I really believe that the team now that I've got together working with me, AT, the sprints coach at Georgia, Josh Rucci is strength and training. I've got a really good PT staff in Atlanta, as well as the group here at Georgia that's kind of working together to keep me in one piece. And so I really feel blessed to have, kind of that total package, I guess, if you will, this year going into the games, which would be, kind of a little bit different than what my experience was in 2016 and definitely in 2012 when I was just getting started. So I'm really looking forward to, having another year of training. I was joking with, some of my friends and some of my competitors, like, man, the worst thing they could have done was give me an extra year, because, I'm now more motivated and driven than ever to get this thing right and to move forward. And Tokyo's always been kind of my big dream games, and it'll be my third games. And I really feel like I'm poised in a really great position to, go and hopefully bring home the only gold medal I haven't won on a world stage, and that's the Paralympic gold.
And Jarryd, you're big in Asia. And I know you've made trips to Japan, and I see there. I mean, you're like you look like Tiger Jeff Gordon there with all your endorsements on your shirt. So kind of talk about some of those opportunities and some of the products that you're working with.
Totally. Japan has been so great to me. I've been 12 times in the past 4 years, almost 3 to 4 times a year I'm there, which is really amazing. I've built great relationships with amazing people and amazing companies over there. Currently sponsored by Toyota and Mizuno, and then as well as the Atlanta Track Club here in town, which is just really great to have, supports both locally and internationally. And then probably the coolest thing that's happened was shortly after the Rio Paralympic Games in 2016. I started working exclusively with an engineer in Japan to design and develop running blades for me specifically to be able to use, and having the opportunity to work so close with the CEO and the engineer of a company to develop these blades and have an opportunity to impact how they're being made and help other individuals access them has been really great. And we originally started working together, and our goal was to make the best and fastest blade in the world for the best and fastest athletes in the world. And it's evolved into saying, hey, how can we use the same technology and same resources that we have to make a cost-effective blade for people who just want to run, who maybe can't afford a running prosthetic because they're extremely, extremely expensive. And so we've spent the past 18 months pursuing that venture and really trying to innovate the process, the manufacturing process. And as of February this past year, we've designed our first, what we're calling the Affordable Blade Project, and it will cut the cost to the consumer by 75%. So we've really had an amazing breakthrough And as we continue to manufacture these blades and eventually get through the process of distributing them to people, we really have the potential to change the way the world accesses this technology, and help individuals who, yeah, maybe their goals aren't to go be the fastest amputee in the world, but maybe it's just to go walk 4 miles or jog a 5K, or go and literally just feel normal and be active. And I can relate so much to that, because the core of the beginning of this entire process for me is I just wanted to feel normal, and this blade and that we're creating has the opportunity to do that for people all over the world.
Jarryd, that's another great story. Well, I know all the ladies watching here, they could tell you're a really good looking young guy, and and a great story about, were you in a tree house when you proposed? What was that story there?
Yeah, man, holy smokes. I've been married, gosh, it's coming up on 4 years, and my wife Leah and I have a 6-month-old at the house, which has been a whole new amazing journey. But yeah, so I guess 5 years ago, my wife and I were on our second date, and asked her what's one thing she wished she could have had as a kid that she never had, and she said it was a tree house. And for some reason that just stuck out to me. And so when it came time to propose, I found a tree house in 5 Points. My wife was a Georgia graduate and Big Dog fan, but lived in 5 Points. So when I found one in the back of someone's house, I knocked on the door and asked if I could clean it up for them and use it as a location to propose to my wife in. And they were gracious in allowing that to happen. So hung lights, did this whole deal, and proposed in a tree house. And it was, yeah, pretty special experience. Definitely took her by surprise. And it was cool because the next 6 months I kept getting pictures from the family, and their kids didn't use the treehouse at all, but after the proposal, they were in there every night, and it kind of brought it back to life for them too. But yeah, just a special time for us, and it got a little bit more coverage and publicity than I thought it was going to, but it was a cute idea that became a little bit more public than probably my wife wanted more than anything. But no, she was, she was just super ecstatic, and we've had a blast. We live out in Watkinsville, and we'll do our best to stay in the Athens area as long as we can.
Yeah, and you mentioned your new addition, and your sister Brittany, who, by the way, is famous. I hear her voice probably 5-6 nights a week. My wife Emily is addicted to fashion blogs, and that's her favorite one. And then it's also led to one of the great nicknames with the 3 grandkids now. Your dad is known as Papa Wally.
Papa Wally, man, holy smokes, it's the craziest thing. Yeah. Brittany is, she always jokes and says she's the internet athlete in the family. She's definitely broken the code and has become an amazing leading influencer in the fashion industry. And we're so proud of her, and it's amazing what she's been able to accomplish. And again, with her, it started with a dream, and she just believed in it and went after it and made it happen. So, we both have had, moments in our life where we've gone after crazy things and have been able to make those happen. And I'll tell you what, if you just for us, if we just turn around and look at how we made that happen, you look at Sabina and Jeff Wallace, our folks, and they're the foundation and the reason of why we've been able to kind of accomplish some pretty crazy things. They've instilled some strong belief systems in us from a young age, and always allowed us to believe that we could do whatever we put our mind to. So I'm really grateful in that. And Papa Wally, man, he's living up to the name. He loves the grandbabies, and we're actually going to go spend a few days with them here at the lake and get away from town for a bit. And so we're really excited about just getting to spend some time with them.
As an homage to the great movie Office Space, and Michael Bolton was maybe, and even going through what you went through with your leg, with your first name being Jarryd, was maybe the worst thing that really ever happened to you when the Subway guy came out? Because I'm sure you heard Jarryd about 1 million times. And then when Austin Powers threw it in there too, that had to take it to another level.
Always, man. I guess the only thing I've got going for me is that it's spelled Jarryd. And Dad got that spelling after a Swedish tennis player named Andres Jarryd, of course. And the only benefit that I've got is my Gmail is just my name. So I don't have to have any periods or dots or dashes or weird numbers. And, I think there's 3 people in the world that spell their name like me. So we're doing all right in that standpoint.
Well, yeah, I hope none of your friends just called you Jarryd the Subway Guy too many times, because that does stink. And like in the movie Office Space, when you've got a name and then something hokey or goofy comes out, and you're like, oh my God, I've got the same name or moniker as this guy. It's going to be awful.
Hopefully I'm a little bit better shape than he is.
Well, Jarryd, my friend, again, I'm just so proud of you and happy for you and everything you've done and accomplished. And I guess if we could just leave, if you just had a final thing or two that you'd like to say for our audience, of course, 99.9% of which are Georgia Bulldogs fans.
Well, go Dogs, and I wouldn't be the man I am today without the family and team and the unity of Georgia. I've been all over the world, and I've seen so many different cultures in so many different places, and the camaraderie and the unity that exists on the campus of the University of Georgia and the people that bleed red and black is uncomparable to anywhere I've been in the world. So go Dogs. Thanks for all your love and support. Keep following in the way to Tokyo 2020, and always remember to let your dreams drive your directions, not your present circumstances.
Amen to that, Jarryd. Very well said. God bless you, young man. Appreciate you taking the time. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
JD, appreciate you, brother.
All right. That is the one and only Jarryd Wallace.